Hello everyone, we are from Truemaths and in this video we are going to discuss the topic which are related to coordinate geometry. In this chapter there are three things in your syllabus. The first is distance formula, The second thing which is in this chapter is section formula. And the last thing which is in this syllabus is the area of a triangle. These are the three things which are in your syllabus, and in this video we are going to discuss the distance formula, or you can say the question that may be asked in your exams related to this topic. Now, if I talk about the distance formula, means there is a coordinate axis. This is the coordinate plane where this is considered as x-axis, this is the origin, and this is considered as y-axis, this is y-axis, this is x-axis, this is considered x dash, and this is considered y dash. Now, if I have to point these points, these are positive values. Here there are negative values on this side. Here again it will be positive values, and here it will be negative values. Now, if I talk about a point P, so obviously this must has a coordinate, considering that x1 and y1 are the coordinate of this point P, and there is another point Q, and x2 and y2 are the coordinate of this point. If I have to find the distance between this point P and Q, I have to use this distance formula. And distance formula say that the distance between any 2 points, in this case between P and Q, is, if x1, y1 and x2, y2 are the points on this must be x2 minus x1 whole square plus this is y2 minus y1 whole square. So this is the distance between P and Q. This proof can be done using Pythagoras theorem here. If I have to consider this point, this is basically x2 distance from this y-axis, and this is okay. Now this distance is x2 and this distance is y2. So if I consider this distance, this is y2, this complete distance, and this distance is x2 from here to here. And if I consider this distance and this distance, so this distance must be y1 and this distance must be x1. Now if I make this, and this is a right angle triangle here, in which this complete distance is x2, out of which this distance is x1. So obviously this distance must be x2 minus x1. Similarly, this complete distance is y2, out of which this distance, which is equal to this distance, is x1. So this distance must be equals to y2 minus y1. And if I have to find out the distance between P and Q, I can use Pythagoras theorem, where the square of this hypotenuse, which is PQ, must be equals to the square of this and this. So this is the case which can be concluded using this Pythagoras theorem here. Now, using this formula, many things can be asked in your exam. The first thing is, they will ask you to find the distance between 2 points. And for that, you can directly use this formula to find out the distance between 2 points. And in the second case, they may ask you to prove something. This is important. When the question based on proving will come in your exam, that will surely carry 4 marks, means this will come in your D section. Now, in finding the distance between 2 points, 2 things are important. First is, what is collinear? Collinear points. This will come basically in proving. Collinear points are basically 3 points, or you can say more than 2 points. If I draw a line, these all 3 points come in a straight line. Means if A, B, C are 3 points and these 3 points lie on a same straight line, then these 3 points are considered collinear points. If I'm saying that A, B and C, this is A, B and C. If these are the 3 points which are not on the straight line, then these are considered as non-collinear points. So these are the collinear points. Now, in distance formula, in proving, you may be asked to find whether A, B, C 3 points are collinear or not. The coordinate of these points will be given to you, and you would be asked to prove that these are collinear or not. So in that case, what we have to do is, if these are collinear, so obviously this must lie on a straight line, and in that case, the sum of AB here, the sum of AB and the sum of BC must be equals to AC. So this is the condition we must prove when we have to prove that the 3 points are collinear. Because in this case, if they are not collinear, in that case the sum of AB and the sum of ABC, the sum of AB and BC is not equals to AC. The sum of this and this will not be equals to the sum of will be equals to AC here. So this is the case when you have to prove collinear. And if it is given like that there is a point P which is equidistant from A and from B. So again, in this case also, if this point is equidistant from this point also and with this point also, in that case the distance between this and this must be equal, and in that case, equating those two equations, you will be able to find the coordinate of this point P. So this is the case when you have to use distance formula for proving. There is another case where you would be needing the same formula for proving in a triangle. In triangle, 3 questions will be based on right angle triangle, on isosceles triangle and on equilateral triangle. So for proving these 3 things, you must need to know some basic properties of these triangles. So first of all, if you want to prove that A, B, C are the 3 vertices of an equilateral triangle, that means in that case all 3 sides of this equilateral triangle must be equal. So you must use this distance formula to find the distance between AB, BC and AC, and if all 3 sides are equal, in that case that triangle will be equilateral triangle. So in isosceles triangle, if I have to prove that PQR is an isosceles triangle, in that case again you have to find the distance between all 3 points, and then if 2 sides in that triangle are equal, in that case that is an isosceles triangle. And if you want to prove that XYZ is an right angle triangle, in that case you have to prove Pythagoras theorem. Again, you have to use this distance formula to find the distance between this side and this side, and you have to prove that the square of hypotenuse must be equals to the square of the sum of squares of other two sides. So you have to prove this, and if you are able to prove this, in that case this must be an right angle triangle. So there is another proving where you have to prove for a quadrilateral. So this quadrilateral we will discuss in the next video. Till now what we have studied is how a distance formula is created and how this distance formula can be used in proving certain things. In next video we'll talk about the quadrilateral, how the question on quadrilateral may be asked in your exams. Thank you.